Before we begin, one thing that I want to say that I forgot to in the last part. This chapter's title, Chaos Named, it is the name of a Tempest trial, but I actually prefer the Japanese name of this chapter. My name is Chaos. That is such a cool chapter name. Yeah, they're not going to listen to reason. So, finally, we get to fight the group that sided with the Senate. Except now they're even more deluded. And on that note, we begin the chapter. We're not actually going to hear this very long now, but I love this chapter's map theme. I love this song. But it's going to be interrupted soon, so I'll stop. And we heard this song a lot back in part 3. It's still Team Micaiah's battle theme. It's still my least favorite battle theme in the game. And oh yeah, the experience yield of these guys is higher than most tier 2 classes as well. Just letting that song play out a little bit. Now, if you look really closely at the Disciples of Order, you might notice something very creepy about them. They're all tinted gold, even their skin. We'll find out why that's the case later on in this part. Anyway, I'm guessing you double Micaiah. Yes, you do. Don't actually kill her, though. Alright, no, I'll save the Micaiah-Sanaki team-up attack for a little later. Though Ha could actually try and finish off the crossbowman right now, which I might want to try and do. Yeah, these things are still no match for real third tiers. Death to the false third tiers, I guess. You call the Apostle a fraud, but you are frauds who pretend to be third tiers when you are clearly not. Gonna need to clear a way through these enemies quickly, though. And in fact, if I have Nasala fight, I can show something cool. Yes, Nasala has his own battle theme. Every Laguz Royal does, except Nyla for some reason. More evidence that this game hates characters who were introduced in Radiant Dawn. Also, Nasala's stats. He's basically the second coming of Set. His speed is ridiculous and can potentially reach 50. However, he only starts at an S in Strike and not SS, so his Great Beak is not as strong as it could possibly be. However, I can actually show off Sanaki fighting, though I also want to be a little bit careful of her. Because she's very fragile, and obviously, her death means a game over. But here is her personal tome, Cymbeline. It's name derived from Shakespeare, and it's a very, very cool tome, because it basically drops the freaking sun on them. And I guess I can use Thani here. Micaiah still really only needs Thani, but she might need something else later in the game. She still has her second tier outfit, though. That will change much later in this pass. And you're probably going to be worth a lot. Yes. A full level up. Micaiah does level up very quickly during Part 4 if you give her Paragon. I like doing that just because I like to have her at level 20 before her forced promotion, even though she's not the most useful character in the world. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here is... Okay, Sanaki... Okay, Leanne can only refresh those two, who aren't exactly the most useful people to refresh. I could try and have Soft Attack, but I don't think I'll do that. Instead, I think I might try refreshing Tanith, maybe? I'm not sure if she'll be able to kill that Paladin, though. She's not doing a good job of dodging this playthrough overall. But she still looks incredibly cool. Yeah, I'm liking the increased experience yield of the tier 2.5 enemies. I still don't know if... yeah. Sanaki getting hit by one enemy is usually fine. Sanaki getting hit by two enemies, or Micaiah getting hit by one enemy, is often death. And Leanne getting hit by one enemy will also be death. Oh, I should have moved Sigun 1 space forward before I did this. That was dumb. Please tell me you do enough. You do, good. See, I told you third tiering Tanith would be useful. And yet, even the horses are gold. There's something decidedly... Oh, are you kidding me? Something told me that would happen. I don't even know if I can finish you off in time. I mean, knowing me, this is going to miss. At least you got a support going. But yeah, there is something very, very off about the Disciples of Order. And there is a very good reason for that we'll be seeing much later. Can't quite reveal it now, though. Sigun might actually end up third tiering without me really trying if I get her a little more experience. So, oh no. Yeah, Leanne is definitely dead if you get your mitts on her. However, I could block with Marsha. Marsha would not die to you. At the very least, she wouldn't get doubled. And I think that's what I'll do here. Even though Marsha's not really trained, she's still kind of useful at this point. Okay, Scrimir, I think I'm not going to have Scrimir run in and fight. I might want to have him fight a little bit in this chapter, but... might as well send Soft down here for both literal and figurative support. Oh yeah, and the Disciples of Order have their own phase fanfare. And their own battle theme, which we'll be hearing now. For some reason, this battle theme is really memorable to me. It's probably because we'll be hearing this for the rest of the game as the enemy phase theme. In fact, I forget what this song is called. It's either Embodiment of Change, or no, I think that's the boss theme. No, wait, no, Ideals Clash is the new boss theme. Embodiment of Change is the Disciples of Order battle theme, which is really ironic because they're the exact opposite of Change. I mean, they're literally the exact opposite of Change. So Nasala getting attacked by one bow, I'm okay with. Because he still dodges almost all the time. Though he does, I find, get hit by bows surprisingly often, even with 20% hit rates. And good thing Hara is not, oh, that's an axe on a bow. I guess I could probably start talking about the map theme here. So the map theme is called Unending Task. We'll be hearing it a few times. I forgot you could cross the river. You'll be hearing this a few times during this part. It's not really used all that often, but I think it perfectly sums up where the story is right now. It just gives that feel of... This is going to be a weird term, but that feeling of what I like to call a cold apocalypse. So, a hot apocalypse would be, I guess, the kind of Shin Megami Tensei Chaos Alignment kind of world, where just fire and brimstone everywhere, everything exploding, just complete destruction everywhere and mayhem. That'd be more the kind of world we'd be getting if, say, Yune was evil, which, honestly, I feel that it's I'll be talking about this later, but I feel like it's a personal theory of mine that Yune easily could have ended up just as bad as Ashura if circumstances were different. But I'll be talking about that later. So that's what I like to call a hot apocalypse. A cold apocalypse is more like this, where just everything is just complete silence. The world is dead. We have this snow, but it feels very unnatural. And everything is just far too quiet. The air is way too clean, like Nasala said. And I feel like the map theme really gets that feeling across. Just that sense of just, wow, the world is pretty much gone right now. But we have to continue. Hence why the song is called Unending Task. It's a very good map theme that's sadly not used very much. I believe, apart from this chapter, it only plays in one map for the rest of Part 4. Serena's Forest said that it only played for this chapter, but that's definitely wrong. I know it plays for Team Olyncia's first chapter in this part. Also, here is the main gimmick of the Disciples of Order. Their reinforcements teleport onto the battlefield directly, and that's going to get really frustrating in the next chapter, trust me. Because, yeah, the next chapter, well, I won't be mentioning it then, but I'll leave it up to your imagination just why it's bad. But hint, it's very bad. Very bad. At this point, it's like, take your pick of ranged swords for Edward. Yeah, I still kind of wish we had a different battle theme. Given how often this song was used for the enemies and how often it was used for Micaiah's forces when they were being really misguided, doesn't really feel appropriate for what we're doing now. Okay, we do have a whole bunch of enemies up here. And these tier 2.5 paladins had a heck of a lot of movement behind them. Guess I have to finish you off. Not even that will do it. I really don't want to use the Brave Axe. I also don't want to use this, though, because I'm probably going to miss one of these, given my track record. I mean, I do have Weapon Triangle disadvantage, so I'm okay with this lower accuracy. Okay, good, didn't miss. I was thinking that I'd have to either retreat Laura or have Scrimia run and then protect her. Even without Paragon, Jill's leveling up a ton. Our levels will get higher very quickly in Part 4, and we'll need all the levels we can get before endgame. Now, usually if Scrimia runs into the enemies, he tends to slaughter them all because he has Provoke. They'll all attack him. I might as well try that, but I do want Edward and Jill to be getting a bit more experience here. For that reason... Oh yeah, Nolan's in another party, dang it. That means Edward's going to be kind of on his own when it comes to hit rate. I mean, he's literally on his own because he has no supports. Now, I forgot these rivers are traversable by horses, and specifically this here is actually a path through the water. Not a very fast path through the water, but a path through the water nonetheless. And yeah, so here's another reason why Fanny is actually still very useful here. Because cavalry. Even severely underleveled, Micaiah still obliterates cavalry with the tactical horse and armor neutralizing incantation. I still love that abbreviation. That is my headcanon for what Fanny actually means now. And yeah, I can just skip through the experience bar, because I know Micaiah is leveling up from every enemy she kills in this chapter. Well, for the most part. Okay, you're down. And let's see. Nasala really shouldn't be hogging all the experience here, but Nasala is just so fun to use. Okay, there are a couple of archers up there. He is very fun to use, but he's not invincible. And that's part of why I find him fun to use, as far as Lagoo's Royals go. Because Nasala, I find, is easily the least broken of the Lagoo's Royals. And like I said, ironically, that makes him the most fun to use. I don't feel that bad about using him. Of course, least broken of the Lagoo's Royals still means he's very, very strong, but... Okay, I wonder if I can move you away. Might I be able to do this and then Kanto Nasala back into range of, back into chant range of Leanne? And by the way, when I said that I was going to rank up the support with Leanne and someone else, I'm sure you know who I'm referring to. Okay, let's send you back here. That's good. Okay. Sanaki could go ahead and attack this guy. Let's first, though... I think one of you there has a longbow, so I need to be careful of the longbow. Alright, I was going to keep you there so that Sanaki gets her bond support, but... Okay, that's a killer lance. That's actually not good. I'm going to actually do this and then cancel you one space back so that Sanaki is still in bond support range of you. One thing that I find really weird is that Segun has a bond support with Sanaki, but Tanith doesn't. You'd expect them both to have bond supports with her. But apparently it's just Segun. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, surely I got that wrong. But I checked Serena's Forest, I checked the wiki. It's correct. Sanaki only has a bond support with Segun, not Tanith. I almost forgot Ha was here, and it's not often that I say that. Because I have some other very, very powerful characters on this card. Sanaki's not really the strongest, but she does a decent job. She needs a lot more speed to double, though. Also, I love that cake twirl. There was actually unused content in Path of Radiance for a, this is annoying. Okay, there are a lot of bow paladins there, so I probably can't block this area with Tanith. Which means I might have to send Ha to this bridge. If only one bow paladin can attack, let me just actually quickly test this. How much damage do you do? Quite a lot. And how much damage do you guys do? I probably should equip the Wind Edge because it's sword, axe, and bow, so yeah. Or I could just use Nisala. You know what, that's probably what I'm going to do here. Nisala is a lot tankier than... Actually, let me check. I'm not sure if he is tankier than Tanith. 26 defense. Exactly equal, but he has a lot more HP, so he is technically tankier than she is. He can't counterattack against bows, though, like she can. Oh, this part of the song that I love, and I love this part of the song in particular. It's a really nice dark reprise of a recurring melody that's been in a lot of the songs in this game so far. Guess Tanith will head here in preparation for these enemies crossing the water. I do want to try and have Squimir fight a little bit later on, but... Probably should have given a physics after Laura, but anyway. I kind of like the phase fanfare too, it's just that's... It's short, it's snappy, and it gets the point across. Yeah, I remember, I'm going to say it again, on my hard mode playthrough, that these bow paladins in particular are really irritating. Mostly because I sent Screamer up here and I forgot he had Provoke, so, everything else died, but they... Why are you moving now? You don't normally move until the very end of this map. Why the heck are you moving now? I'm very confused. I really don't want you to get near Sanaki, though. Because, yeah, Brave Sword. Obviously not a good idea for squishy mages to go up against. It would be nice if I had Micaiah take you down. Well, that's weird. Unless you're out of range of Nisala. And here is why Wyvern Lords are broken in this game. I don't know what they were thinking when they made them not weak to bows, but it certainly helps Har and Jill. It is on a bit of a short loop, though, the Disciples of Order battle theme. So many ranged enemies here. I really should have equipped a hand axe on Jill, but the Silver Poleaxe was the only way she won round at that last enemy, and if she didn't win round, then I would be in serious trouble with Laura, so... There are actually a ton of ranged enemies here. That's why the speedrun just puts Har in the middle of everything and equips a hand axe. Also, yeah, shoving Nisala into range of all those enemies is not a great idea due to the sheer number of ranged enemies. The one Achilles heel of Lagu's Royals is that none of them can attack at 1 to 2 range. And Nisala doesn't even have Vortex anymore. He has Maelstrom, which is kind of like Vortex, but it's sort of like... In fact, as of now, I would have already explained it in the bio if you're watching this, but as of now, I actually don't know what Vortex does. I'll have to just go and check its description. I think it's kind of like, Howl and Quickclaw, though. Which I think Quickclaw is called Thunderclap in the Japanese version. I kind of prefer that. I knew that you would attack Edward. Okay, my accuracy is not the best against you. Thought so. That was really bad. But at least a few of you are going to be suiciding. A common theme of the Disciples of Order maps, though, is that there are going to be a lot of reinforcements, so I kind of want to clear out the initial enemies quickly. This map, though, is not nearly the worst of the Part 4 maps. So I alluded to this earlier, but I feel Part 4 is about the point where I actually, like I've said in the last part, I quite enjoy the story of Part 4. I get why some people don't, but I personally really like it. But I feel that from a gameplay standpoint, Part 4 is where the map design goes downhill a little bit. This one, like I said, is not that bad, but 4.1 and 4.4 in particular are... I don't like those maps at all. I was about to say, there's the Edward I know, but nope. But very soon, he'll be going in the bushes, and then the Edward I know will return. Meanwhile, this is the Jill I know. Kind of running out of uses on the silver poleaxe, though. Still have steel poleaxes, and honestly, with how powerful we are at this point, we don't really need silver poleaxes. They're kind of overkill. I'd appreciate for Edward to get a few level ups here. That, I believe, is an X. No, it's a Lance. Come on, Edward, you can do awesomely in this one. There we go, finally! So yeah, this chapter is already a bit of a treasure trove of experience, so if you think this is a lot of experience, wait until you see Tina Lincia's chapters in Part 4. The second one in particular. The second one is basically just, it's this game's equivalent of the Tower of Valmy. Okay, Edward needs to dodge one of these. That's not good. That's really not good. Wait a minute. Oh, you can't even get to him. Nice. But now Edward desperately needs healing. I would use the Recover Staff on him, but... obviously, I don't want to expose Laura to all these attacks. I could pull these two back and form a defensive line on this bridge, but I don't really like doing that. I like to play this chapter more offensively than defensively, but I might have to. Yeah, thankfully Jill's Strength Curse is well and truly gone at this point. Yeah, the enemies here are moving a lot more than they usually do. Well, this is an unnecessary blessing, but oh well. I guess I could show something kind of funny about blessing in the next time I get to the base. Oh, right, that's another thing that I want to do. I want to get rid of all of these stupid ranged attackers. Yeah, as much as I don't want to have to do this, because you range attackers have a lot of range, so range attackers have a lot of range. Yeah, that's a good sentence. Let's just equip the Wind Edge, because honestly, you don't even need a powerful weapon. You're just going to be going crazy with Adept. Now, if by some, well, the opposite of a miracle, but yeah, if by some coincidence, that's not the opposite of a miracle, but anyway, if by some disaster, there we go, that's the opposite of a miracle, that Laura is in range of any of the range attackers, I'm gonna just have Marshall rescue her. Let's see if I can at least get one of the range attackers. Because if both Edward and Jill are using ranged weapons, then most of the cavalry on this side are probably gonna die. The question is, what is Yuma gonna do this turn? I always thought that Yuma's name was a bit too similar to Yune for a Disciples of Order member. Oh, speaking of generic, well, not generic, I mean, these guys are kind of generic bosses. Speaking of Disciples of Order bosses, I'm really, really looking forward to the next one. Because, just as a sneak preview, the next chapter has my favorite Ike boss conversation in the entire duology. And considering how many great boss conversations Ike has had, that really says something. Like, I'm not kidding, it is my favorite Ike boss conversation. Okay, little Mickey needs to be a bit careful here. Let me just see how far Yuma can go. Because I wouldn't mind having Micaiah defeat him. However, Micaiah could just take this guy. Complete overkill. Literally 37 times your current HP. Unfortunately, no crit. It would have been hilarious if that could have crit. She's still getting 100. I'm suddenly not worried about her hitting level 20 before a forced promotion anymore. And in fact, very soon she's going to be capping resistance and magic, and even luck, which caps at 40 for her, which is crazy. So, and even her defense is actually pretty close to caps. Though, that's not saying much, because her defense cap is still pathetically low. Oh, I know, only one of... I thought the one of you had a wind edge. That guy can reach Micaiah from there, though. Par doesn't need much more than a steel axe, which is why I traded the Tomahawk over to Jill. Seriously, are you the best that Lekane can send at us? I was going to say Ashura, but I'm honestly pretty sure that she's not even aware of what he's doing at this point. Lekane goes in an interesting direction in Part 4. I'll be talking about that more once we actually, because, yeah. Spoiler alert, but it's not really spoiler alert, because it's very obvious. We are going to be fighting him this part, finally, and it's going to be extremely satisfying. One other great thing about Part 4, it has a lot of very, very satisfying boss fights. Speaking of satisfying... I was silent for Nasala's battle theme there. And I can now check what Maelstrom does. Oh yeah, so it is exactly like Howl and Quick Claw. It's damage based on the unit's strength. Okay then. Which is still quite a bit of damage for Nasala. His resistance is also pretty decent, so he makes for a fairly effective mage killer. Okay, yeah, if I send Micaiah down there, she's probably going to die. However... unless she one-shots on the counter-attack. Which she might, but... let me just check something. You only have 30 attack? That's really small for a Part 4 enemy. Yeah, Micaiah doesn't die to one hit. She'll probably get double, but what's her accuracy? 155 versus your avoid of that much, but you are on read, so like 50. I think she'll have a 100% chance of hitting. It's very risky, though. I probably shouldn't risk it. I should probably just tank behind these two and have Micaiah pick things off one by one. Okay, that is a problem, because if Leanne does refresh you two, that means Leanne won't be able to get away with Kanto. I guess I can refresh these two and have Micaiah heal someone. As I will have said in her bio, the one downside of Sanaki... well, there are several downsides of Sanaki, but one of her downsides is that she can't use Starve, so she doesn't have any utility value. She's purely for attacking, and she's not that great at attacking. She's very similar to Micaiah, having good magic stats, but not good speed. I don't want to send too many things in. Oh, that's a Tempest Blade. Disarming and stealing that would be great. Kind of wish I had someone with disarm right now. Wait a minute, can you shoot there? No, you can't. Don't think the Steel Sword's going to kill unless Tanith gets stunned, which I don't think she's got stunned this playthrough, though I could be wrong. I usually use Screamer a lot more in this chapter. I should mention that Nasala actually has pretty good boss dialogue with the boss of this chapter. As does, I think, Screamier? I forget if it's Nasala or Screamier where the boss says, "What a horrid monstrosity! Only the Dark God could have created such a beast." Because, yeah, these Begnion guys are still as racist as always. I think Nasala has a really good response to that, though. Yeah, unfortunately, I still can't counterattack the longbow. Yes, he is going this way. Interesting, I might be able to have Micaiah fight him after all. Thought you'd do that. This is kind of weird. On my hard mode run, Nasala got hit by almost every archer on this map. He didn't die, but he came very close. Also, speaking of Nasala, his battle theme won't play on the enemy phase, but one other thing about Nasala's battle theme that I guess I should mention now, for a while, oh, by the way, the song is called Wheeling Corby, in case you want to look it up, but for a while, I actually had that as my mobile ringtone. It actually works really well as a ringtone, because I think I had On Glorious Wings as a ringtone at one point as well, but I actually like Nasala's battle theme better because it has a loud, dramatic start, and I think that's something that you really want in a ringtone. It catches your attention quickly. The other ringtone that I had was the Pursuit theme from Ace Attorney Investigations 2. You can probably guess why I had that as my ringtone. Both that and Nasala's battle theme have a very loud, dramatic start to them. I thought you wouldn't get stunned, because, of course. This chapter's actually going faster than I expected, though last time I said that, the chapter ended up taking an hour anyway. I actually kind of want more things to attack Edward. So we are kind of getting to the point where Windedge's accuracy issues are really starting to show. Holy crap, really? Edward has not been having a good chapter. He really misses his mentor. Okay, those reeds there. I'm going to have to do something about that. Because the enemy is fast deciding that that's going to be a choke point they're going to take. Okay, good. You hit all of them. I can start respecting you again. Not that I ever lost respect for you. I still really want you in Heroes. Although I am very, very glad they didn't throw an Edward banner at us right after the Lewin one, because then I would have gone completely broke. I did manage to get Lewin without spending any real-world money, which is good, but I'm still completely free to play. I have not spent a single cent on Heroes. And more enemies. Yeah, the thing with these chapters, you want to finish them as fast as possible, because otherwise you can very easily get overwhelmed by reinforcements. I can't quite get to Yuma. But I can't quite Fanny kill you. I might be able to get a Lian Chan in, though, because I actually would kind of like Micaiah to finish off the boss, except... Wait, no, that's pointless, because she's getting the same amount of experience from the boss as she is from regular enemies, thanks to being second tier with Paragon. She has good boss... Well, actually, her boss dialogue is pretty generic. She's just like, stop being mean to Yune. That's almost literally what she says. Well, she gains speed. That is something. Actually, it might be really satisfying to have Sanaki be the one to do it. Except there is a short axe waiting in the wings. Yeah, you do have to watch out for this guy's brave sword. I really want to do that, but the downside is if I get stunned, then Sanaki doesn't get to get her amazing boss dialogue. I'm tempted to do something here. I promised I wouldn't do this, but... I'm actually battle saving because I don't want to activate a skill. So basically here, I do not want Tanith to get... Oh yes, and special boss dialogue for Tanith. I don't want Tanith to kill this guy. So, to sum this up, you're a traitor. No, you're a traitor. No, you're a traitor. No, you're a traitor. And by the meaning of loyalty would mean we're going to kill you horribly. Okay, good, no stun. I don't usually say that, but yeah. That did a little more than I thought it would, though. I suppose I could refresh Tanith. Yeah. But I guess I can also preview how much damage you're going to take from the... Yeah, by the way... Oh, Sanaki still doesn't kill you. Okay, then. I overestimated Tanith. I don't think... will that put you in enough? I guess there's only one way to find out. They'll put it down to 38, and you do 28, and you do 27, don't you? You do 27. I know you do 27. Ugh! Ugh, that's annoying. That's extremely annoying. I really wanted Sanaki to be the one to do this, because that just makes perfect sense. I mean, I could have Ha come in here, but his chance of hitting is low. He does still have the Horse Slayer, which, like I said, is very useful here. Because of this. Yeah, Horse Slayer. I don't want to have to do that because I want Ha to finish off these two enemies, otherwise I'm in trouble on the lower part. But I really want Sanaki to get the kill on that boss. Because she really, really deserves it. If I do that, it's probably going to miss. Okay, I was wrong about the most generic boss dialogue from earlier. Nope, you have the most generic boss dialogue. Oh, something that you might have noticed. This guy has a new boss theme. So starting in part 4, every boss uses this song called, I believe, I said the name before. Ideals Clash, that's it, Ideals Clash. And what I didn't actually know is I thought this was the first chapter this song played in. It's actually not. Ideals Clash first plays in 3.6. It's actually the boss theme for Leth. False Apostle this. Please don't miss, that would be really horrible. There we go, perfect. That's... why'd that happen? That was just... That situation was perfect, and then that horrible level up. But I now need to block off Sanaki, otherwise she's probably going to die. 36, yeah, that's kind of bad. And there's also a Tempest Blade there. Yeah, I actually really need to kill both of you. And Nasala isn't quite in... Okay, worst comes to worst, Segun rescues Sanaki. I can do that if I actually really need to. Suppose I can continue to try and block off this area. And I gotta make sure that I Gulda for the right people, because I will be needing Tanith here, most likely. Might actually be needing... Well, actually, Micaiah's probably not gonna one-shot these cavalry. So let me just check. Bad, 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 bad. So I must unfortunately use Micaiah's healing powers, not her. Yeah, you might notice that I haven't used Sacrifice ever since Part 1 ended. The thing with Sacrifice, though, it actually might come in handy in the next Team Micaiah chapter. Because, let's just say Sacrifice being a free cure for status is actually incredibly useful. Oh yeah, you can still get to Sanaki, and you can still get to Sanaki, because you move surprisingly well in the river. A bit of a tangent, but one thing that I really like about... I'm probably going to have to rescue and have Sanaki run. One thing that I really like about... Okay, please tell me that you... Some of you can get to Leanne. I really need stun right now. Or I could try and have someone shove Leanne backwards. Okay, first hit is no stun. No stun. That is bad. But if I go here, then Sanaki gets attacked. Okay, I have a plan. And it involves... I don't like having to put Leanne out of the fight for this long, but... And then I believe, yeah, I'm definitely going to need to rescue Sanaki with you. But I can probably... No, what I'll do here is... give, and then... That way Leanne is not out of the fight. And I need to heal Edward, but I have a whole bunch of bow users here. 2 of them. So I'm going to actually need to vulnerary up on Edward. But first, where are you? Die, longbow, die. You're not really a threat to me, you're just extremely annoying. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that even 3rd tier snipers, or marksmen, they can't counterattack 3 range attacks. They only have the option to choose to attack at 3 range themselves. Oh, Edward's in worse Byros, and that's probably why he's been doing so badly in the accuracy front. I probably should have sent Squimmier around here, but you know what? Let's actually have you grab the Apostle and then drop her here. Okay, I really hope I did everything right here. We should be almost done with this chapter. Really? No adept or criticals or anything? I'm pretty sure that's recover. Well, I'm glad you're attacking Tanith. I knew your hit rate would be awful. I still love the animation on the Tempest Blade, though. I guess, yeah, one thing that I was talking about earlier was that... One thing that I like about Armor Knights and Heroes is that even though they have terrible movements, they're pretty much immune to the effects of terrain. They can cross most terrain at the exact same speed. And I wish Armor Knights had that ability in more of the main series games. It would go a pretty big way towards making them a little bit better, at least. Give them, like, free movement cost across all terrain, even though that doesn't really make a lot of sense, given how... I mean, I guess you could say that it's like, oh, if you can move while wearing armor that heavy, maybe, you know, you must be able to, I don't know, move freely. Not really sure how you can justify it, but there's got to be a way to justify it, and I feel like it does make sense to just buff the class a little bit. Edward has not been doing well in the activating skills front. Jill has been doing great this chapter, though. That's pretty much to be expected. By the way, this is not the chapter where that's the reason why you want powerful flyers on Team Micaiah. That comes later. Also decent. Jill's doing very well. Yeah, now nothing else can attack Edward, and he needs a little bit more experience. It's fun. I don't usually play this chapter this way, but I almost feel like every time I play this chapter, I play it differently. Suppose it makes sense for the first chapter where we have the Goddess of Chaos on our side. That was to be expected. Okay, yeah, I need to end this soon, otherwise there will be problems. Although I am not at risk of getting any less bonus experience, because, as I said much earlier, at this point in the game, and I think none of you are, okay, one of you has a range attack, but at this point in the game, every single bonus experience requirement is 10 turns, except for 3, which I believe is 15 turns. So I'm already safe, and I love how massive Silver Blades are. Okay, I could have her whack the ranged attacker, but if she does that, she might not be able to Kanto. No, she will not be able to Kanto back. But I suppose it's not too much of a problem if... Yeah, none of you are Lance users, so Edward should be safe. I hope those aren't famous last words. I'll just use a regular hand axe. Jill just has the full assortment of, Hey, Jill has the full assortment of 1 to 2 range axes, Edward has the full assortment of 1 to 2 range swords. Except his Storm Sword only has 1 use left. So really, we're coming up to the ending point of this chapter. But, yeah, holy crap, do I have to have Laura run away. I guess she can still heal, though. Actually, let me check something. There are a couple of ranged attackers there. I was gonna send Squimir in there, but... because I haven't really used him much this chapter, but you know what? Although thanks to Provoke, this pretty much guarantees the ranged attackers won't die. I'll have Nasala take out one of them, though. But yeah, here are Squimir's stats transformed. He's pretty powerful, and he also has Resolve. His stats are mostly identical to how they were when he was an NPC in Part 3. I actually think that when I was playing this chapter the last time on my hard file, Squimir actually was fighting an enemy that he wouldn't double without... Basically, he got pushed into range of doubling thanks to Resolve. He wasn't doubling the enemy at the start of the fight, but then Resolve activated, and I was like, oh, okay, Resolve. That's a thing that can happen. Okay, I came this close to accidentally, Alright, the Tempest Blade guy's still there, I need to remember that. I came this close to accidentally ending my turn, and that probably would have resulted in someone dying. I wonder if they had a lot of Paladins and Armor Knights in this chapter intentionally to help Micaiah level up more. Okay, and that is Camp Magic and Resistance. Which I believe means it's probably better to start using bonus experience on Micaiah. In fact, it should be relatively cheap to camp her out soon, so I probably need to stop having her fight soon, although I would like her to get more light ranks up. Okay, so first things first, you absolutely need to die right now. Not really doing a good job of having you die, though. Let's just use the Killer Axe, even though my crit rate is not the best. And slowly walking forwards because, yeah, mounted units cause that sometimes with generals. Yeah, I actually did crit, nice. And I think I don't think it's that efficient to be chanting for Micaiah here, but I would kind of like her to get another kill maybe. So for that reason, only 1 use left on that, not going to use that, and yeah, let's do this. Even though I'm probably going to get stunned. Now that I actually want Micaiah to finish something. Well, I didn't get stunned, but I don't like the fact that that hit me. I think I'll keep you around here-ish. Can Sanaki get to anything? I need to shove her twice, and I don't really have any grounded character. Oh, I only have Soft, but he's not really going to be able to do it. I wonder if Soft could I don't really want to do that. Oh, by the way, take a good close look at Soft's tier 2 stats, because these will be the last time we're seeing them. Yeah, I should be able to finish off both of these guys. The Bishop will still be there, though. can't quite one-shot you, and because Micaiah's actually capped on magic, there's no way Micaiah can one-shot you. Unless supports, but that only add a little bit of damage. I think Soph is +2 might with his support. And yeah, there's a reason why I've kept Soph and Micaiah's support, by the way. Okay, speed, that's not bad. Yeah, if you manage to bonus experience her speed up, Micaiah goes from extremely terrible to just average. But average is at least better than extremely terrible. I was about to say I wonder if Sol can finish off that bishop, but I don't think he can get that far. I think I'll leave it at that. Actually, no, Soph can get that far. Unfortunately, there's no way all of you are dying, so this is going to take another turn, and probably another several turns, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least one more batch of reinforcements incoming. I still love this part of the song. And I know that I keep saying that, we should make a counter at this point, but in my hard mode playthrough, I actually third-tiered Marsha here. I never expected to third-tier Marsha, but she actually did get transfer bonuses in that file. And having an extra third-tier flyer was pretty useful in the next Team Micaiah map. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I can actually steal your physic. Rare time where you can actually do that in Path of Radiance. I mean, I don't think you're at risk of actually killing anyone. You can go for Leanne. And Leanne has very, very bad HP. You have 26 attack versus 13 resistance. Or I could steal L-Lights, but you'll probably Physic next turn, and then I won't be able to steal Physic. Or I could just rescue Leanne. Yeah, you know what, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and steal Physic just because I want to, unless you can potentially... I don't think you'll be able to kill Soph. That would be really weird if you could. But yes, free Physic Staff! Haven't seen that since Path of Radiance. But yes, I definitely need to go ahead and rescue Leanne now. And can Sanaki? Yes, she can. Recover heals you a ton on. And you went for her anyway. So now we find, well, we actually did get to see Scrimia's battle animations earlier, but we had to see them on our side for the first time, and yeah, Scrimia is pretty much a somewhat speedy general. He's kind of Gatry, but with even more strength and defense, potentially, but with the limitations of a transform gauge, which is actually really bad. I really don't want you guys canceling too far away, because there might be more reinforcements incoming. And I want to finish this chapter quickly. Even if you could easily just grind out the reinforcement. Like, I feel like if you're going for optimal experience, you should just wait until turn 10, because that will get you maximum bonus experience, and it will also get you maximum regular experience from the reinforcements. Well, I can't complain about missing an 89, because that happened. I thought that'd be enough for a level. Jill is doing pretty well. Why wouldn't someone attack Edward? He's a little bit behind Jill. But I guess Edward can get you next turn. I guess Provoke didn't work. That's really weird. And Nasala still has Vantage from the last game. And just like in the last game, he still starts with a coin in his inventory. was hoping to show Screamier fighting a little more. And instead you're like... Well, I guess Nasala, like, these enemies know that Nasala is a backstabber, so... everyone just wants to attack him. So much so that they'll ignore the guy who has Provoke. I'll want to take Provoke off Screamier eventually, because Provoke is very useful in endgame. Oh yeah, Strike is going to take a while for you to hit SS. I have actually SS Nasala's Strike at least once before. And yeah, those are some very solid stats all round. Let me just check you guys. Of course there'd be a ranged attacker. Let's actually do this, and then I'm going to have Jill hand axe the General and run to hopefully... Then Jill and Hara are going to go all the way up there and equip ranged weapons. Maybe they'll all suicide in the enemy phase, we'll see. You're not doing a good job of gaining strength, though you only need to gain a few more points to that in order to max it. And you're pretty close to maxing skill and speed anyway, and also luck. I'll just use this because I only need one hit. Jill is hogging a lot of the experience here, and she'll hog it even more on the next map. Because the next map is very much Flyer Central. I wonder where that expression comes from, actually. 25 speed, though. I wonder if Har... Nope, Har still doubles everything. Because Har... Okay, so if everything goes right... You know what? Let me steal your other staff, too. That guy's not having a good day. Can Micaiah? No. That'll probably give her a level up, though. So I might as well. Almost done. Approaching 1 hour. This chapter hasn't been as long as some of the others. I would say this is one of the few things Micaiah is actually good for, but she still can't one-round kill most mages due to her terrible speed. I wonder if I can actually get Sanaki over to finish the job there. I might be able to. And let's actually show Screamier fighting something. I still don't really like the way that lions look in Radiant Dawn. They just look like giant fat pigs with names rather than actual lions to me. That sounds really harsh, but that's actually the way that I describe them looking. Well, you know what, might as well. Just because. Speaking of lions, I should mention that very, very, very early footage of this game. In very, very early footage of this game, there was a... I guess I can show some other tomes. Of course, Arc Thunder is terrible, but let's try Arc Wind. One of the tomes Robin doesn't use in Smash. It kind of looks cool, I guess. But yeah, there was very early beta footage of this game that showed Micaiah fighting an enemy Kanagas. Also, it showed Nolan starting out as an enemy. I don't know if Nolan was ever planned to start as an enemy, or if that was just extremely early footage of the game, but in one build of the game at least you could see him starting out as an enemy. But yeah, the Micaiah fighting an enemy Kanagas thing was interesting. It does tie into what Micaiah does during Part 3, so maybe you were originally planned to fight Kanagas at some point during Part 3 as the Dayan army. That would have been terrifying. The map background, though, of that screenshot, it's very low quality, so it's hard to tell, but it looked a lot like the map for what in the final game was 3-3, the supply burning chapter. Once again, Har conquers all. Okay, that made up for some of his lackluster level ups earlier. but he's still not gaining that much speed. Okay, I'm glad that Edward got attacked by at least one thing. Finally, Edward has a perfect hit rate against things. Took him a while to get out of his funk, but now he's back. I'd like Edward to be getting a little bit more experience than this, though. I usually put Edward on Team Elincia, so this is one of the first times I've had him on Team Micaiah. But I usually do put both Jill and Har on Team Micaiah, as well as Tanith. Team Ike, I pretty much just have standard Grail Mercenaries. I usually don't modify, I guess Jill has the high hit rate against you. Okay, if Har actually hits both of these, or gets stun on one, this is chapter over, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think that's map over. I love when it all works out and you can end it on enemy phase. Yep, chapter over. That is actually really disturbing to think about. That some of the new recruits managed to get caught up in Lekkane's speeches like that. And Yune's back. So yes, that was not Micaiah's doing earlier on. That wasn't her foresight powers. That was all Yune. So everyone in the Disciples of Order was originally stone before. That was actually a plot point in the Japanese version, but not so much in this version. Kind of justifying the fact the enemies get stronger and stronger for gameplay reasons as you get further in the game. Yeah, they were, and they still sucked. So, I guess law of conservation of ninjutsu is in effect. Blessing a ton of people is going to result in very weak blessings. Hence why they're tier 2.5 classes rather than just tier 2. The thing about it being similar to the Black Knight's armor though, I have a theory about the Black Knight's armor that I think I'll actually say now. They said the Black Knight's armor was blessed by the goddess, but they didn't specify which goddess. Now, it's a plot point that Ragnall and Alondite were blessed by Ashura, but I like to think that the Black Knight's armor was in fact blessed by Yune, because the Disciples of Order all have gold armor. It's not hard to imagine that Yune's forces would have had black armor. What do I mean by Yune's forces? Well, I'll talk about that later in part 4. So yes, Yune hasn't been awake for very long. She can't bless us, unfortunately. But we're strong enough to fight them anyway. We don't really need her blessing at this point. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's what happens when you have a being who believes they represent pure perfection. And there goes Yune. Yeah, we need to warn them about the Disciples of Order. Yeah, Soph gets pretty jealous towards Micaiah sometimes. She doesn't like when you call her that. So yes, it's being fully mentioned now. The source of Micaiah's foresight powers, that was all Yune. I actually do think Sacrifice is still Micaiah though, and I'll explain the reasons for that much later. Something must have happened. We'll find out the reason why Yune was labelled as a dark god much later. Oh, I love this moment. Yune's also a massive troll. The power to protect Micaiah, lol, as Japanese fans will refer to this as. And so Soth promotes to 3rd tier, Whisper. Unlike Ike and eventually Micaiah, this is not a unique class. Heather can also be a Whisper if promoted to 3rd tier. And though this being a plot-based promotion does give Soth a unique outfit, and it's a very strange looking one. Yeah, there aren't a lot of fans of Soth's 3rd tier outfit. I'm pretty sure this isn't how he looks in Heroes. You sure about that, Soth? Yeah, I didn't have Soth's luck high enough to show the really hilarious thing about this promotion where he can actually lose luck if it's above 35. Micaiah can still snark sometimes. So, these lines right here were added in the English version. This is also an important point to consider. The fact that everyone is still stoned gives us the perfect opportunity to stop the Blood Pact, because I guess they can't really die if they're still stoned. So that whole scene added in the English version, and it becomes a bit of a recurring subplot for Part 4. Track down Lekane, kill him, rip up the documents. Like I said earlier, in the Japanese version, the clause about killing Lekane to break the curse did not exist. Actually, it did, but not in a way that involved Micaiah or Soth directly. In the Japanese version, the Blood Pact was essentially forgotten from this point on, until an optional boss conversation with Lekane later. Segun, I think you're being what TV tropes would call innocently insensitive. Sanaki is feeling very inadequate at the moment, and you probably shouldn't point out that Micaiah can hear the voice of the goddess better than Sanaki can. Now, the chapters here are not worth very much bonus experience. That's part of why I didn't want to spend a lot of it before this one. So, next time we'll be switching to Team Ike and... oh, great. 4-1. I don't like 4-1. It's one of my least favorite chapters in the game. Sneak preview. Fog of War, rout chapter, with teleporting reinforcements that you can't see because of the Fog of War. That's gonna be fun. Really fun.